It's deprogrammed. My name is Justin, and I'm a host of sorts, I guess you could call me. And, hey, you gotta love when your kid's playing Xbox over there, and, it's pretty loud there, It's pretty great. You finally...
Kids down there play them dang on video games.
You finally push play, or you finally push record, for the new pod.
And the button mashing starts.
Yes. All right, we'll get there in a second. Hey, patreon.com/ohijustin. If you enjoy this program or any of the programs that we're doing here at the Ohio Justin Pod Central, I don't know what to call it. But if you enjoy any of that, if you like this show, you like the Ohio Justin Pod, you like the Wrestle Pals, $1 a month gets you all that a little bit early. Plus whatever these ghouls demos are coming out, plus whatever comic book may or may not be getting worked on, plus another new pod, plus an old pod may be coming back, plus whatever other stupid ideas I come with.
It's a lot of pods.
It's a lot of pods. It's going to be
plus.
You're like the Keurig of the pod world.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yes.
Oh my god.
I'm coffee flavored.
That was good. I can't argue that.
So today we're talking Silverchair, and you've already met the panel, but let's introduce them one by one. Jonathan Chitwood joining us again.
Hello, hello.
And Evan Miller joining us again.
Hello, everybody.
Of the Fresh Takes Gaming Pod. Ooh.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Shamelessly plugging my podcast. That's awesome. I wasn't going to do it.
I'm starting one now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's called the Jonathan Pod.
It's called the J. Chitty Bang Pod. John Pod. That's all it is. There's no intro music. No, it's just called John Pod.
What else am I supposed to do?
That's the outro.
That's it. Yeah. John Pod, first episode. What am I supposed to do? It's a 5-minute rant about me not knowing what I'm doing.
So I know you're tuning in to listen to us talk about Silverchair, and I promise we'll get there. But you guys have no idea. Like, we just went through a lot just to hit the record button just now. So I feel like I have no idea how the audio's going. Everything is just was not working right. So
no.
It's like, all right, time to record. No.
How about no?
We're using a tape player next time.
Yes. So I'm trying to do it on the fly. We'll do it live, as they say. And obviously it looks like garbage over here. So, hey. What can you do about it?
What else am I supposed to do?
It's $1.
What else am I supposed to do? So if this doesn't sound great, I do apologize. I'll do what I can in post. We're talking Silverchair, and Silverchair actually goes way back with the three of us. Oh, yeah. We also have to mention Andy couldn't be here, but he's here.
Andy said he couldn't be here,
but
he is here. There will be camera footage of this, I'm sure, at some point, posted to the
He's
Facebooks.
eyeing you drink right now.
He is looking very intently at my double gulp of diet soda.
He looks a little thirsty, but
I mean, the way his mouth is just so elegantly opened.
Like, let me have that double gulp.
Let me have some of that. Let me have some of your double.
You
gulp,
got 2 gulps
guy.
there. Let me get one.
You don't need both them gulps.
Wow.
Way off the rails.
Way off the rails. Look, 2 minutes in? What?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
But Silverchair goes, he wanted to be here, but he had to do, his band had a last-minute rehearsal because they've got a show tomorrow.
They do have a show tomorrow. So, it's a legit reason.
Yeah.
I'm not even calling it an excuse. It's a reason.
It's a reason. Yeah. And, it's a bummer. But he also may have inadvertently come up with a new idea that I'm going to trot out. Probably not here, but I will trot it out into the deprogram group. Don't you look at me like that, Andy. How dare you, sir? So
I'm so glad I did this.
We got the sillies. I think it's because it took us an hour to start recording.
Probably.
Let's talk about Silverchair, because I liked Silverchair in high school. Like, I liked them. Mm-hmm. I didn't love them. Right. I liked them. Then I met you guys.
Yes.
And Evan was like, "No, you watch this now." I was like, "What?
You like to watch this now?" Basically, that's 100% how it happened. restrained him to a chair and said, "Watch this now."
You will watch this.
You will watch
Actually,
this now.
I mean, specifically, it was the Freak video, which I didn't even know existed.
Right.
And you were like, no, check this out. It's cool. I was like, all right. And then, boom, there it is. And actually, at the time, I didn't know it was a Silverchair song, but during stale shows, during stale practice, you guys used to play Madman all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just a great jamming out kind of song because there's no lyrics.
Just gets you moving, man. It's a good
Yeah.
warm up. Good warm up on
Yeah.
Guitar because you're moving and you're getting that.
Oh man, it's,
That dexterity with your
it's a
hands,
fast
and same
song.
thing
It's
with
got
the
a-
drums.
It's got a nice groove part to it, and
Yep.
And I used to put the lyrics to Prodigy's Breathe
Yes.
to it. Breathe the pressure.
Yes, you did
Play
that.
my game, I'll test ya. Psycho,
Gotta get insane.
And then I'd be like,
all the sound
Oh
effects
man, we did a lot of stupid
totally
stuff.
analog.
I don't understand why we weren't bigger.
Yeah, I don't either. It's totally escapes me. We were ahead of our time.
I think so.
I really do think that.
I honestly think that if we could do a band now, knowing what we know, we'd be pretty successful.
Yeah.
I mean, now granted, we're all adults now and can't put forth the time that it takes to be in a band,
Yeah. That part.
but like knowing what we know, like considering the time I've put into this program, learning about
Sure.
what people like about. I mean, I always thought we're talking about stale here, but I think it's pertinent to Silverchair because we had. Not only did we cover a bunch of Silverchair songs,
Right.
we were very close to what Silverchair does.
Yeah.
I always
Yeah.
thought.
Because Silverchair was it's one of those bands that they started out and they had a lot of people comparing them to like the next Nirvana or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And their first album, I mean, it was straight up grunge, it was alternative, and but as they went through the years and they started doing these different things and experimenting and it was like one of the first bands that I didn't immediately like cast off because they were changing what they did, or trying some new stuff. So it was kind of eye opening, because at the time I listened to a lot of heavy metal. I mean, to put it simply, and a lot of like the kind of hardcore screaming stuff, not very much in the way of sing-songy vocals or anything like that. And Silverchair changed the game in a way.
It's going to be interesting when we get to the later albums, like watching the change of Silverchair, because like it becomes pretty evident pretty fast starting in Neon Ballroom, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I credit Anna's song, and we'll that's the downfall for me, is that song specifically, and we'll talk about it like if it comes up, because it's quite possible, but it's just weird, like you were saying, some bands you let them make those clicks to different sounds, and I don't know what it was about Silverchair, like maybe I just got in too late. I didn't let them make that click.
Right.
Like, whenever they started stepping away from what Silverchair was, it's like, nah, I'm done. I don't want it.
Right.
Yeah.
Some bands, Smashing Pumpkins, no Smashing Pumpkins records really sound the same. And Adore, which is my favorite, was a huge click away from what they were doing on Melancholy.
One of my favorite albums by
Yeah.
the Pumpkins, by the way, too.
Yeah.
And I let them. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm in.
Right.
It's just weird how, like I said, it has to be because I just wasn't in.
Yeah.
And
You kind of get this. I think part of that is just kind of comes maybe with age, or if there's a whole bunch of other bands that are kind of doing similar things or in the same neighborhood, and then you have this one band that you really like that kind of starts changing things up, because Silverchair didn't make these like huge changes. It was like each album was a little bit different than the next,
yeah.
except for the last one.
Yes. And
Which we'll touch on.
we'll talk about Young Modern.
Yeah. But going back to what Jonathan said, like, when Frog Stomp came out, their first album, they were getting lumped in as like, oh, they're just another Nirvana.
Somewhat fairly. Somewhat.
Yeah, I think that was a little unjust, because I think it was more, that was being said more because of how their appearance was. I mean, they matched kind of lead singer, greasy, long blonde hair, drummer and bass player, long brown hair. Like it's kind of what it was.
Yeah.
But
And they say a lot of. I kind of picked up on this. I don't know why. Maybe because I was just feeling a lot of it. But with Frog Stomp, they say a lot of important stuff.
oh, they do.
I
yeah.
mean, I think they were like 14, 15
They were
was gonna
14,
say, yeah,
15
they
at the time.
when they
were
recorded
young.
that, and you listen to the subject matter,
Yeah.
and it's like, man,
Yeah, it was good. I mean, and sound wise, I don't think they had any comparison to Nirvana though. Even at that time, like it was in the same era, sure.
Yeah.
But I think they were sludgier and heavier than Nirvana was.
Well, and then coming back to it, especially, I agree. I mean, again, there's tunes, especially on like Freak Show, where I can see the comparison easier. But really, not. I mean, they're more akin to Deftones, and they're not really in the same vein as Deftones either.
Right.
I think a lot of people they kind of like locked in on Tomorrow, the song
Yeah.
that made it big, because it was a very Nirvana-esque, straight up, straightforward kind of rock song.
Mm-hmm. As far as singles wise, I'm sure there was other ones off of Frog Stomp.
Yeah, there's
Israel's
Israel's
Son, I
Son
think.
was one. Yep.
That's Tomorrow's really the only one I remember. Like, that's what put them on my radar. Obviously, probably
Right.
everybody's. I paid attention. What's funny is, and we'll get into specifics of song. When "Abuse Me" came out, which I think was the lead single for Freak Show, I hated it.
Yeah.
I was like, "What is this garbage?" And then Freak came out, and I loved Freak. And then when the album actually came out, and I got it, I was like, "Okay, well, Abuse Me is just kind of just different for the rest of the album." And I mean, I've come around on Abuse Me, but at the time, no, thank you. I think when you look at it, you can really see the growth of the band, though. Like Jonathan was saying, like it felt drastic when Diorama came out. It felt like it was a drastic change.
Yeah.
But when you really listen to Neon Ballroom,
You
Diorama's
see the
not that,
touches of that leading up to Diorama. Yeah.
it's really not that big of a leap. And again, if you listen to Freak Show, you can hear where Open Fire kind of comes from, and some of the other songs on Neon Ballroom. And it was a lot more gradual than it felt like at the time. And I think it was just I wanted more Slave. I wanted more Freak. I wanted that really heavy stuff. And
yeah. They're really good at the heavy stuff.
they're
man.
really
They are.
They're
really
really good at the heavy stuff. They do.
love the guitar tones. That
I think one of the things that I've always loved about Silverchair, though, is that even though they've kind of gone out on limbs as far as experimenting in different sounds and things like that, especially when it came to including other instruments. But they always had at least one or two, 3 songs that had that real heavy edge, but they would still incorporate these other elements, that just screamed of them kind of growing and maturing as a band, but also, give a nod to like their roots and the heaviness that they all liked.
So what was it initially that drew you in on Silverchair, Evan?
For me, so yeah, like you mentioned Tomorrow, I did not like that song. When I first heard it, I think, again, when MTV played music, I know it's
Yeah.
kind of a, beating a dead horse at this point, but
Yeah.
when they played music, it was on 120 minutes, because I always stayed up late and watched that show. That debuted on there. Well, maybe not
I'm Matt
debuted.
Pinfield.
Yeah.
This is Silverchair.
That guy. And the song came on, and musically I liked it. It didn't, and maybe it was the visuals that went along with the song that just I didn't care for, and it just kind of turned me off from it. But when I heard Israel's Son is when I really kind of started paying more attention to him.
Started hunting in.
Yeah, definitely. And I was like, okay, I need to check some more of these, some more of this album out. And a friend of mine, this was back when I lived in Pennsylvania. Friend of mine bought the album, and we jamming out, listening to it or whatever, being dumb teenagers, right? But it was just really good. So I was like, okay. So then I went out, bought my own copy of it, of course. And I just couldn't get enough of it. It was like permanently in my car, just playing all the time for months. because it just track by track, it's just really good. It's a really good, solid freshman effort for for a band,
Of that age,
of that
too.
age,
Yeah.
especially of that age. I mean, 14, 15 years old, they're putting out that stuff. I'm just like, dang.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks, nonetheless.
That's right. I remember there
They
was a
recorded
short
it in 2
recording time
weeks,
because of money constraints or something. They only had like
Well, it was they won a contest because they submitted Tomorrow, and that won this radio contest. And one of the contests was basically to get recording time. So they had 2 weeks, and they did the whole album in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
bet you the drummer didn't fall out of the back of his truck though at the studio.
yeah.
Guarantee you that didn't happen to Ben.
Yeah. So what was it that drew you in, Jonathan?
Tomorrow, hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
I mean, when I heard that song, I had a lot of teen angst back in those days, and a lot of the songs just spoke to me. But when I heard Tomorrow, I mean, it was full on air guitar soul, and just and also kind of like reading and hearing about the story about how they got to record their album. But yeah, I mean, Tomorrow was what did it. And then really when I remember buying the album and Israel's Son, like that first song on the record, it's just, I don't know, it's hard to describe. It's just there, like all the parts that I kind of wanted at that point in my life from a band, they were there.
Isn't it funny how like all the parts you wanted in that part of your life, right? And they hit you in all the right ways. And then when you still go back to it, it still hits you in all the right ways. It's like how, like, it's weird how music can transcend time like that. Like
100%.
And I would have never before going back and listening to everything, I never would have described Silverchair as timeless, even though I listen to Freak Show at least once or twice a year still.
Freak Show got close to being a little bit played out because I think when Freak Show came out, they had a couple singles that did really well, and they just played the mess out of them.
Oh yeah, Abuse Me.
Abuse Me. As much as I love the song.
It was everywhere.
Yeah, it was everywhere.
It
Absolutely.
was everywhere.
And I mean, I guess that probably plays part because, like I said before, I didn't like that song. So then on top of that, they're overplaying it. So that probably did not help the message. So let's talk a little bit about putting our 20 together. My 20, I feel like I only pulled like 24 initially, and I only had to make a couple cuts. And technically speaking, I'll be making the last one tonight as we do the show. Well, I mean, it just sometimes it gets to that point where it's like, well, I'd rather keep the open end to jump in on somebody else's than to just throw out a strike that I didn't feel that strong about anyway, clearly, or I would have cut it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I was real tight on mine. I mean, I went album by album.
Only 47 this time.
Yeah. I had a 58 possible. I figured 50 was a good number. No, but I mean, I've only got 23, and really, I had like 21 for. I think I sent you or one of y'all a message like probably a month or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
I was right after the last show that we did together, and I went ahead and did it. And I kept thinking to myself, I'm like, I've got to go through Young Modern. As much as I have a really difficult time accepting that as a Silverchair album.
Oh, we're gonna discuss that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because it's
Best
so
believe it.
vastly different. There are some things that I knew about side projects that Daniel did.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I'm pretty sure that someone he was in a pretty serious relationship with at the time had some
Influence.
Yeah, influence in his writing.
Mm.
But so I really had to go through that, and there were 2 or 3 songs that I definitely did like, so I added those. There was one I think that drew me into Young Modern though. It was the first song. It was I think it was a single, but when I listened to the whole album,
Yeah.
You know, but I knew that I knew that I would be able to include at least one or two.
Well, you're a better man than I. Evan, what was your putting your 20 together like?
It was pretty easy because I knew kind of already 3 roughly from each album that were immediately on the list before I even had to, before I even revisited all the albums. I just knew, like, okay, yep, Frog Stomp, no, those 3 are going on there. Then, Neon Ballroom, yep, those are going on there, and so on and so forth. And then, so I actually, I hit 21. So I was pretty tight with my list this time.
Yeah.
Pretty much because, like I said, I already had my mind made up on quite a few of them, and then it was more or less like, okay, well, let me listen, to these albums that aren't as heavily represented on my list thus far, and then start, okay, why do I like this song versus that one, and start making cuts and putting those songs of the albums that weren't as well represented initially. So yeah, got it parsed down to 21.
So you're gonna make a cut live today too?
I mean, there's freaking Young Martyr, man. Let me tell you, I'm getting fired up about that album right now, and I'm gonna probably drop some swear words. That album was a pain in the dick to listen to, start to finish. It literally hurt me.
Okay, so
pain in my genitals.
We're there. So before we hop into the list, because Jonathan does have songs from that, I'm putting it out there. I don't have any.
Yeah.
Okay. I have one.
Okay.
But my note beside it is this. Just because I didn't want to omit a whole album. That album is like the participation trophy.
That's
the
what I
Silverchair
kept
albums.
thinking about.
Well, the thing is, and you already alluded to this, to me, it doesn't play as a Silverchair album. I think it's a good album. But when you're listening, when I've listened to all of Silverchair's discography, even though it's not like a huge leap from Diorama, it's enough of a leap to where I'm like, this isn't Silverchair.
Yeah, yeah. Because there's influences from the Diorama writing process, that point in their lives they're at. But there was, it was like 5 or 7 years between the two albums.
Makes sense, yeah.
And like I said, the single, I think the single that they released for it was what kind of like drew me in. Like, I heard that and I liked it. So I remember immediately buying the album. I'm like, oh, Silverchair's got a new album out. Bought it on iTunes. Listened to it. I'm like, this is trash. It was not what I was expecting at all.
Garbage.
What's funny though is, I swear to God, the two things I thought when listening to the last 2 albums, Diorama to me sounded like a slightly heavier Hanson album, and Young Modern sounded like a not good Hanson album.
Like, literally, that whole line I said about it's the participation trophy of Silverchair albums, I literally wrote that as a note. That was my note. That's not something I made up on the fly. Like, I literally had to write that down because that's the only way I could
justify having it.
For anybody that's listening to this, to give you like an idea, when you're going through this list that we put together, whatever ends up being on it, listen to that, but then check out, it was Daniel Johns had a side project, and it was with this Australian DJ, can't remember his name, but it was called The Dissociatives, and it was real kind of artsy, kind of out there stuff. It's good, but if you listen to that and then you listen to Young Modern, you can tell where all the influence comes from.
Again, I think Young Modern's a good album. Just not a Silverchair one.
My problem
It's a Dissociatives album, in my opinion.
That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Then don't put Silverchair's name on it.
Yeah.
Call it Dissociative albums. And Daniel Johns, don't bring the rest of your bandmates from Silverchair in on this piece of hot trash. And ruin their names as musicians.
Pile.
Go over there with DJ Wallaby or whatever his name is.
Wallaby.
And freaking making second album.
This is not Silverchair.
Okay. That's how I feel about Young Martin.
I mean, it's the elephant in the room when you think about Young Modern.
Pile of elephant dung.
God,
So
that album pissed me off.
feel free to play your songs. Just know that Evan has the one almost in protest, and I have none.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
You're gonna have to cut something.
I'm liable to flip a table if I have to play this.
Loud noises.
I also have to put this out here. Last week, for the first time, we had to dig in the trash. So there's going to be a new trash protocol. If we have to do this,
NTP for those not in the know.
new trash
New
protocol.
trash protocol.
So what happened was there was only one unanimous. There was 7, I think, that had 2 of us that had the song, and then everything else was only one of us pointing. They were all strikes. Everything was strikes. So we had to go digging out of the trash. I think instead of like we all just kind of said, well, maybe this song, and it was like whatever we're all close on. I'm thinking that each panel member gets to pick 2 songs, one of their songs that was a strike, and a song from somebody else that they were close on.
Okay.
So
You
you
get
could
what I'm saying?
accept, but you didn't have personally.
Right. And then, so that, like, in our case, it would be 6 songs, and then we would debate which ones we take in to the final 10. Hopefully it doesn't happen, but I didn't have a protocol, so now we do.
Now you do.
Name of the game is Deprogrammed. And the 3 of us, and Andy as well, he's here in spirit.
Hey guys, it's Andy from Sinister X. I'm wearing a Bane mask right now. Peace.
He did make his list, and I am going to bounce the idea off of the group and see if they enjoy this idea of kind of like a 5th panel member, maybe, like a member who isn't there in person, who submits a list that we can bounce off of if we need like deciding votes and stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a way to
Oh,
bring
yeah.
That's cool.
way to bring in listeners. We've all gone in, grabbed 20 songs out of the Silverchair and the not Silverchair album discography.
Silverchair and the Dissociatives.
I mean, even if they named it that, man, I'd be
all over
slightly
it.
better with it, but
Yeah.
no. Anyway,
What if it was Daniel Johns in Silverchair?
Like what?
I don't know how I feel
Or
about
the
that one.
Silverchair?
The
put a
Silverchair.
The Dissociative Silverchair.
Oh God.
We've each pulled out 20 songs, in my case 21, Evan's case 21,
Yeah.
that we're going to now collide against each other and try to make a top 10 starter kit for you to devour and hopefully get into the band. I think I have to start here. I'm always going to be partial to Freak Show. Like I said, I still listen to it multiple times a year, and this song always pumps me up. I'm a track 1 guy. Slave.
It's coming out swinging.
Yeah.
Not on mine.
Okay. 2.
Womp womp.
We got 2. It's in the combo. All right, Jonathan.
This is going to be difficult because there's so many songs that I would be like, yeah. But no, I had to cut
Well,
that one.
you had 50 out of 58, so I mean, yeah.
I mean, I could have had a larger list. Such as my style.
He brought nothing but young modern.
I'm just going to include
I
everything
would
else.
punch him in the face.
I'm just going to include everything else. So we don't have to do the other lists. All right. I'm just going to go down my list here. First one I will play is off of Neon Ballroom, and that is Steam Will Rise.
I think.
Yes, that's on my list.
Yes.
It's just a cool...
Unanimous.
Nice.
It's
It's a
just
cool-
got a
yeah.
cool tone to it.
It really does.
That bass line that opens it up.
Yep.
I feel like there's a lot of that on Neon Ballroom.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I think that's what I started gravitating towards. All right, Evan. Hey, we got one. Evan,
Yes.
your turn.
Probably my favorite song ever. I'm gonna say ever. Yeah, I'm gonna use the word ever. That's an absolute term because I could probably listen to it on repeat over and over again. Also off Neon Ballroom, Spawn Again.
Yep.
Yes. I was kind of wondering about that
There's
because
just-
I don't think that it was on... I can't remember if it was on the original album.
So I don't think it was planned to be because they put that song on the Spawn soundtrack, which was them and because it was a mashup. It was like 2 artists doing tracks together. It was like Silverchair and like
yeah,
I don't know if it was
yeah.
like the Sneaker Pimps or it
Yeah,
was something. I don't know
okay.
who
I
it was.
remember it. I
Maybe it was
remember now.
DJ Wallaby again. I don't know. He could have been on there.
That's
Spawn again.
That album's responsible
So-
for Young Modern.
Probably shouldn't do
but
this.
but that version of the song is what it was all right, but it wasn't that great. But the one on the Embalm they did, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
He unleashed Spawn. Like he got angry, man. It was just really good.
It's funny that I didn't mention this before, but that was your selling point. Just watch how mad he gets.
Was that it?
Dude, some of the stuff.
Was
Yeah.
that in? Because I think I had a DVD that I think I got when I pre-ordered that album.
And you're showing
that
me
came
like
with
live.
It. Yeah, he was doing Spawn again live. I was like,
like-
dude, look at the veins popping out of his
Yeah.
neck. Come on, bro.
I think I saw them at the Boathouse, and they played that
Behind the boathouse.
in the Silverchair.
It's not good.
Oh my god. All right.
2 in a row.
Yeah, 2 through 1. I mean, no strikes yet. I'm gonna go with this one again. It's a radio tune that I dug. I'm partial to this album, obviously. I'm partial to this song because we covered it, and I thought it was one of our better covers. Freak.
No, that actually wasn't on mine.
It
Probably
was on
should be.
mine.
It was.
Yeah,
Word.
yeah.
I could definitely support that though, because that probably should have
I'm
been.
a freak. Nature.
Yeah,
I always loved that.
it's just good, man.
Thought that. I feel like that's like very signature Silverchair. All right,
Yes.
Jonathan.
I'm gonna go with. It's the last song on Diorama. It's called "After All These Years."
Nope.
It's mainly a piano tune. It's pretty cool.
I hope that's not why I didn't have it, but that's probably why I didn't have it.
Wait, what was it? What song did you just play? What was the title?
After All These Years. It's the last
It is,
song on
hidden
Diorama.
track outro.
No, I do not have that one. Okay,
Oh, first miss.
sorry, guy.
All right, Evan.
I'm gonna go to Freak Show. Learn to Hate.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Take the time.
Such a
time.
I remember that
good,
song
man.
inspiring me to write my own song.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because back then I used to have this notebook that I had hundreds of songs in this thing, and that was my outlet. You know, I'd get these ideas, I'd hear a song, and I'd get an idea, and I'd run with it, and I'd write lyrics. It was, just I don't know. It was just the way that I operated, and I just really remember this song.
Well, take the time.
Dude,
take
so
the
good.
time. Yeah. Well, again, it's Daniel Johns at his angriest.
I like him at his angriest. That's when
Yeah.
I think that's when he does his best work. When
Mhm.
he's a freaking snowflake with the associatives, man. He'll send you packing.
All right, I'm gonna trot something out here off of Diorama. This one jumped out at me, and again, it kind of fits in that signature Silverchair vein. One Way Mule.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
on a little bit of a roll here.
We got 4 now.
4 in.
I'm trying to make some notes so we all are.
4 in and 2 in the combo. All right, Jonathan.
This might be a short
All
episode.
right. Well, I'm gonna try and play some of the stuff that I think might not be as obvious to the three of us, but
Now's
I'm
the
gonna
time.
go with "Shade" off of Frog Stomp.
Yes,
I do.
I do have that one. So good.
Like I
Don't
was
go
saying
hide in
earlier,
the shade, man.
yeah, the lyrics to this song,
Yeah,
I was listening to it on the
so
way over
good.
here, and man, song after song, you go through Frog Stomp, and it just kind of makes me wonder about the things that were going on around him and that
Mhm.
were important to him when he wrote these lyrics. Because
Yeah.
Tomorrow, I think that's largely about like capitalism and stuff, and money hungry kind of people.
Mm-hmm.
Very hard to drink.
Yeah. And but some of the for like I said, 14 and 15-year-olds
Yeah.
Yeah.
writing songs like this.
Yeah, dude.
Australians.
What are we writing songs about?
Yeah.
It's all about the rockets, the
Yeah.
rockets.
Yeah. And we were 20 somethings.
Exactly.
Art inspires other art. Okay, we were inspired
not
by
wrong.
Did you
another
say
piece
fart?
of art.
Fart inspires fart.
We were inspired by sausages.
Sausages and rockets. And zebras in America.
Zero in America.
Oh my god.
All right, Evan.
Oh man. I'm gonna play something with diorama here. The Lever.
Yep.
No.
I got it.
Me and you are like hitting on all cylinders. That
Yep.
never happens.
No, dude. Well, and I
me
think
and you
I
especially.
think it's different with Silverchair because I don't think the drums are what drew you in with Silverchair.
it wasn't at all. Because I could play. I learned like most of those songs.
Yeah.
They were very accessible to me, so it wasn't like, oh, that's a super cool. There were cool drum parts,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't one of those things I was just like, oh my god, like how the heck did he accomplish that?
Yeah, it was just
It was like these are just good, solid rock drum parts.
Mhm. And
Yeah.
so like it's closer to a Justin and Evan band rather
Yeah.
than a Justin band or a Evan band.
Right.
All right. So the lever is in the convo. All right. Well, you know what? I'm going to trot something out from Frog Stomp. I'm going to go with Cicada.
Nope.
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 All right. Jonathan. It was bound to happen.
Okay, so this is probably going to be a swing and a miss completely and utterly.
Oh man.
And I'm going to go with Young Modern Station off Young Modern.
Is it the one?
Nope.
Nope.
All right. Dun, 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 dun. All right. And Evan?
Okay, I'm gonna do Frog Stomp here. I'm gonna go with Undecided.
Yep. I got it.
No.
Dang,
Aw.
me and
That
Justin
should-
again, man.
yeah.
Like, who invited you to this show?
The problem is that there's so many songs that they would. I mean, I would have 58 songs. Well, I wouldn't have 58 because
How many
only
were on
two-
Young Martin?
yeah. I don't even know. I don't care.
Too many.
Just, but I only
Take
picked
11 of them, throw them away. I want
But yeah,
0
there's-
tracks off a Young Modern sort of thing.
But there's a lot there that I mean I do love, but you know we're trying to play a
On
game
half
here.
Freak Show, half Neon Ballroom.
I did that the first show. You know, just picked all the stuff that I loved, and I'm trying to be smarter about it. But maybe I should not do that.
Well, it's funny because you never know what's going on in the heads of who you're playing with. And I mean,
Yeah.
I went mostly. This is what Silverchair sounds like this time.
Right.
I mean, you know, like Freak Show stuff is just the songs
Yeah.
I loved, but like everything else is this is Silverchair, this is Silverchair, this is Silverchair, this is Silverchair with a twist. This is not Young Modern. All right,
This is Silverchair minus Silverchair.
that's Young Modern.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, we were just poo-pooing all over that
It's a
Young
good
Martin
album.
album.
It's a good album. It's just not Silverchair. Sorry.
So, do we have anything from like every album yet?
Yes.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, except Young Modern, but yeah, all the ones that count.
All the Silverchair albums.
Yes. All right, I'm gonna trot this one out here. It's sitting there. Jonathan mentioned it in the lead up. I'm a track one guy, man. Israel's Son.
Yes.
Not on mine.
Wow.
Wow. You, sir, are a buffoon.
What is going on with you?
Told
It's
you.
like, sorry guys, I
trying
have
to be-
58 tracks.
I'm
and,
trying to be strategic.
My gosh.
Just to let you guys know, we have 4 unanimous decisions, and we have 6 in the combo. So if we miss everything from here on out, we don't have to dig in the trash.
The trash protocol will not be
Nice.
enabled.
Yep. All right, Jonathan.
Oi, governor.
I'm gonna go with No Association.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Such a good track.
All right, Evan.
Y'all ain't helping me at all here, dudes. Gonna go with Roses off Freak Show.
Nope.
No.
Really?
I
Golly.
love it though.
Yeah, I do
really-
love it.
I literally could have put all of Freak Show in.
Smelling red roses. See, you guys know. You know what's up.
Yeah, I totally could have put Roses in, but then I would have had the whole album. I'm going to ask you guys a question here. Do you feel the same? About Neon Ballrooms, do you feel the same?
No. I knew where you were going with that. I was like, I had to look at my list. I don't think I made it on there.
This is okay. So
Oh.
There's a story.
it's on my list, but
Hey.
it was like
59.
23.
Oh.
Okay.
So I had a couple that I could possibly play with.
Mhm.
So
So what I'll do is I'll put it at the top of the trash. And then if you feel like there's ones that you feel stronger about that you'd rather latch onto,
Okay.
and then if we need it, we can pull it over because technically there's two
Don't
of us that
forget
have
to
it.
empty your recycle bin after the show.
Yes. I always try to. All right, Jonathan.
Okay.
Somebody suggested that I cut it down to 15 instead of 20. I'm like, it's hard enough to get to 20 most of the time. How dare you?
Especially
think if
I
you
don't know,
have-
the discography. If you have 4 albums or more, like no 20. No, it's got to be 20.
Like for Bruno Mars, he had 33 songs. Makes sense. 15.
Yeah.
Hum, whenever that happens, there's only 29 songs. Cutting that down to 15, that's easy.
Yeah.
I think if you've got a large discography and you don't want to do it into 2 parts, maybe go because it'll force you to make more cuts.
Mm-hmm.
To think about your choices a little bit
Yeah,
more.
because if the artist puts out a trash album, you just cut the whole album.
Yeah.
Like, well, I know I don't want this one.
Oh, that one, it didn't happen.
I think Evan has learned to hate.
Oh, I have.
All right, Jonathan. Sorry, I didn't mean to
Okay.
jump in there.
All right, I'm gonna play. Let's see. Let's go with the one we covered. Abuse Me.
I don't have it.
I don't have it either.
Ooh.
I know. I thought about it. Like
I thought
we,
about it,
we
though.
covered a lot of Silverchair stuff,
Yeah.
but like that one, for some reason, probably because it was just
was
so
overplayed.
played out
It was
everywhere,
overplayed.
man.
And, I mean, I loved listening to it, coming back to it, and I don't skip it when I'm listening to the
Yeah.
album. But when it comes to, do I think this is one of the 10 Silverchair songs I want to present to somebody? I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think so. All right, Evan?
Going back to Frog Stomp here,
Yeah, right.
Madman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, is this too easy of a one to put on there? I was like, but I got to because it was so good.
Well,
We
again,
covered that.
yeah, it's
good
got
memories of that too.
Well, because I was always trying to figure out, like, should I write something? Like, is this something that they did? Like, I found out it was Silverchair eventually.
Wait, how long did it take for us to tell you that? Did we try to convince him it was something we wrote at first?
I don't know if it. I
Or
think
was
you
it
guys
just something we just break out
I
into in
think,
practice?
we would just even live we would just
yeah,
I would jump into it all because I used to play the A-Team theme all the time.
that's true
Yeah.
too. Yeah,
stale shows were fun. Like, we should have. We should have
Yeah.
been bigger.
yeah.
Curse you, local
People-
scene.
People didn't know how to.
They didn't know how to handle us.
They didn't
or
know how to
our
handle
antics.
us and our our antics.
Remember we did Elots, the Swedish stale cover band.
God,
Yeah, when we opened up.
We opened
How many
up
bands
for
can say that they've opened up for themselves?
We put fake mustaches on.
my God.
We're like, we are Elots,
Oh
stale
my
cover, Swedish stale
God.
cover band.
Oh my God.
And we played like all the stuff that basically wasn't on our set list anymore.
That was
Yeah.
hilarious.
We didn't even acknowledge it when we came
At
back
the
out.
time, I was trying to be too much of the straight guy, trying to keep you freaking guys in check. And I'm like, dude, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. And then when
Here's a fake mustache.
when 3/4 of your band is like, no, we're doing this, you just gotta comply.
You were so straight edge.
Yeah.
Was it?
Oh man.
Like, here's your fake mustache, Evan. We're doing
I'm
this.
just sitting there shaking my head like son of a bitch.
This is the best. Okay, so it's my turn, right? I don't know where I want to go. I'm going to trot some of these out. How about Without You?
Ding ding ding.
Oh,
Yes, that's a good one.
No.
You, sir, need to take your young modern loving ass out of here.
Two songs.
all right, Jonathan.
Oh wait, I didn't mean to bold that.
I'm gonna go with. I think this one really kind of shows their incorporation of just everything that they kind of turned into or were turning into, and that's emotion sickness.
Yep.
No.
All right. Me and Jonathan finally hit on one though.
Yeah.
All right, Evan. Dun 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 dun.
True. True that.
True.
All right, here we. I feel like I'm trying to think what I've played.
I feel like you should pick one off Young Modern.
Man,
You just want him to yell about KFC, don't
oh
you?
my god, dude, this could like that album could bring out
I
the
feel
ghost
it.
of Sam Kinison. It could possess me.
Palpable.
Seething rage.
Everyone listen out for Evan to rage quit eventually.
Raging. Blah, blah, blah. Let's do. Why am I having such a hard time with this? So I'm trying to think of who may have played these, or who may have them on their list. Let's do Paint Pastel Princess. The P's.
I knew you were going to say that.
Paint Pastel Princess.
Hey, did you see that?
It did
worked.
work.
Yeah.
It did work.
It's not on mine now.
Ah.
But I looked it up after you said something.
Because about
Like,
the P's
oh,
earlier, we were
yeah.
doing the soundtrack. I'm like, dang it.
So many peas. I don't know. I don't feel good about any of these, even though
I don't
like
feel good either.
all
I
of
think it's
them.
Taco Bell.
I will. I will say this: at this point, 1, 2, 3. There's 6 already through, and we have plenty for the convo. So misses are fine at this point, as far as gameplay.
No, they're not.
I'm just trying
Let's
to
win.
see.
Play to win. Always.
How about this one? The Door.
No.
Freak show. Take
Nope.
your time. Let the door swing. Bing, dong, bang, bang,
Sorry,
bang.
buddy guy.
Alright,
But no.
Jonathan.
Let's go with Anthem for the year 2000.
I do not have.
Yes, I do. I had to
Alright.
put it on there because it was just a fun song, man.
You know what's funny is like that's one of those ones that I'd gotten tired of from radio play.
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
But when I came back to it, I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad to have you back in my life because
He's
it's
like an
good.
old friend.
Yeah, it's a really good tune, and I was like,
it was perfect for the time, too.
Mhm.
Per.
There you go.
It does work.
It does work. That's the post for the picture. Oh, that's what I'll have to do
with
for Andy.
Yeah.
Andy, just if you just catch this on audio and you happen to not see the picture in your Facebook feed,
I will be
you'll need a
tagging
lot
him.
of. You'll need. Okay, you're going to tag him so
Oh,
he will
yeah.
see it. Okay, because that'd be like that would be really odd for you to just to listen to this and not have any context as to what is happening right now.
Let's see. I've got 5 left, but one of them will be left out. So technically, I should only have 4. I don't know how many you guys got, but and you are up.
I think I have
Yes,
5 or 6.
7.
Oh, okay. Evan.
Oh, it's my turn?
Yes, sir.
Oh, sweet. Cemetery or cemetery, whatever.
I live
Yes.
in a
cemetery.
cemetery. I need
See,
to
that's the song
change.
that kind of started getting those tinges of what was going to come in Neon
Uh-huh.
Ballroom and
Mhm.
then further down in Diorama. So I had to put that on there.
That instrumental breakdown kind of bridge, whatever you call it.
So all 3?
I don't have it. I love it though. Like I said,
Boogers.
anything from Freak Show is like A+ for me.
Yeah, it's
So,
pretty much, I could have probably listed that whole album. It's really good.
all right. Well, I'll trot my last one out from Freak Show since we're there. Lie to Me.
Gonna be a liar, lie to me. No, I don't have it.
Lie to me, yeah. Lie to me. See, that's one of those ones that you can draw the comparison to Nirvana. And I was like, oh, this definitely does sound like Nirvana. So, all right, Jonathan.
Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna go with off Diorama. I don't know if I played this already.
Diorama,
No.
cha cha cha.
This song's been in my head all day. Tuna in the Brine.
Nope,
do
I
not.
cut that one. So I don't like the name. It just, I don't know, it's weird.
Tuna
I
in
know,
the-
I know. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I know what it is. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I don't like tuna.
Eh. Tuna.
All right, Evan.
Oh. Satin Sheets.
I got it.
Nope.
This freaking guy.
I'm a loner.
Me and
I'm
Justin,
alone.
I
Yeah.
think we've only not hit on one,
Yeah.
maybe.
Pretty much. I'm a loner, Dottie. A rebel. Let's try out some Frog Stomp here. How about Fault Line?
Yes.
Oh.
No.
Me and Jonathan finally finding a little bit of a groove here. All right, Jonathan.
Let's stay on Frog Stomp and go with Suicidal Dream.
Yes.
I do not have that one. This is going to be a hell of a conversation, I tell you. So we've got like 11 or 12 through.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right, Evan. Down to my last two.
I'm trying to see what I haven't put a note next to so I know. Oh, that was a swing and a miss. Hold on, I gotta cross that out. Oh, God. Sweet. Baby. KFC. What is happening? Okay. I think the only thing I have left. Wait, how many? Holy crap, I think I only have like one left.
All right, that
Two.
seems about right. Because I got
Two
two.
if you count.
Yeah.
Meh.
I got 5 left.
Two if you count. Meh. Yeah. The Greatest View.
Nope. Which album's that?
Diorama.
No.
Nope.
Really? There's this really cool. Wait, am I just switching on my. No, there's a really cool guitar part in that song, I think. It's like a little solo
There's a lot
thing.
of those. That's one of the things I love about Daniel.
All right. All right, I'm going to go with Too Much of Not Enough.
Yes.
Hey. That means I just made my last cut. All right, Jonathan.
All right. So, the only other one from
Nope.
the album that will not be named,
Nope.
Straight Lines.
Just trying to find Evan there. Nope.
Trying.
Evan's gone.
Evan not here.
Evan, not here.
All right, so this is your last one?
Do I have to play it?
No. If it's your young modern, then no.
That's all I
Yeah.
got left. I'm just putting it out there. I'm not playing it, but I'm letting you know what it was.
Okay.
It was Insomnia.
What track number is that?
You
Because
think
there was
I paid attention to that on
Well,
this album?
because there was like
Come on, man.
if I had to pick something, that's why I picked the two that I did, because I wanted to represent at least every album. But yeah, Insomnia was the only other one that I liked. But I didn't.
Still putting it in the
I like the
trash,
other
though.
two. The other two sounded more like Silverchair than everything else on the album. I'll put it that way.
My 21st song was Leave Me Out. All right, so
okay.
Yeah.
do you want to empty out your chamber there? Just
Yeah,
so
I got
let the people know?
1, 2. I got three left. So the first one is My Favorite Thing.
Okay.
Second one was Miss You Love.
Hmm.
And the last one was Tomorrow.
I'm not shocked. One of us should have had it. It definitely
Yeah.
belongs in this conversation, but I'm kind of glad it didn't make it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like we can do better.
Full
Like I said,
show.
it definitely belongs in the conversation, and if somebody would have played it, I wouldn't have been mad. But yeah. All right, let me.
So, because for me, like with Frog Stomp, it was a toss up between the singles. Like, yeah, Tomorrow was a single, Israel Sun was a single. I'm like, I'm not gonna try not to pick like two singles off the same album, even though freaking
They're both
Freak
great.
Show had like a bunch of them. But
Yeah.
I was like, Israel Sun is the one that really drew me in. I didn't really initially care for, so that's why that one
yeah.
got added. But
All right, so we have 6 all the way through. Steam Will Rise, Spawn Again, Learn to Hate, No Association,
Yes.
One Way Mule, and
Yes.
Madman. So
yes,
we were off to a killer start.
You
Yes.
give those 6 tracks to somebody, there's gonna be like, what?
This is
Yeah.
what Silverchair
We're done.
is?
That's all you need.
Yeah, top 6.
So we need to trim 3, 9, 12, 15 down to 4. So we've got Cemetery, Slave, Freak, Israel's Son, Shade, Suicidal Dream, Undecided, Fault Line, Anthem for the Year 2000, Emotion Sickness, Satin Sheets, Too Much of Not Enough, Without You, and The Lever.
Oh Just the thought of cutting any of these, I'm just like,
So I think let's start with Freak Show because it's at the top here. There's 3 of them. There's no way all 3 are going in. We've already got 2 through. I feel like one should be the max. Because if we put 2, it's already 4. Almost half of the 10 is off a Freak Show. So we've got Cemetery, Slave, and Freak.
who are we to cut out an artist's best work and limit it?
Hey, look, Freak Show is my favorite album. So, like, I am not... I'm just trying to be fair here.
I mean, if we were being fair, I'm not gonna make that point. No, it's counter to my whole
You
thing
know,
right now.
I would lean more towards Cemetery because it's
Different.
yeah.
That's where I was
and
leaning
it's
towards.
the
Shows the evolution,
acoustic
too. Mm-hmm.
track.
All right, so let's put Cemetery in since we all kind of agreed on that. And I'll leave Slave and Freak right now, just
Okay.
in case.
Word.
All right, so we've only got Madman through from Frog Stomp. So I feel like we have a little bit more leeway here.
Yeah.
Israel's Son, Shade, Suicidal Dream, Undecided, and Fault Line.
Wow. I think Israel's Son needs to go through. I know it's one I picked, but just really like how, because it's a track 1.
It's track
It's
1.
the introduction to this band.
Yeah.
If you listen
Completely.
in order,
Yeah.
then the first song you hear is going to be Israel's Son.
Yeah.
Israel's Son.
Yeah.
Israel's Son.
And just that first
hands in the air.
opening, like it just hooks you in. It's like chung 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 chung.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can agree with that. It should have been on my list, but
All right. So that's 2 more through. We have 2 left. Do we want to cut some of these and then move on to the next album? Because we already have 2 through from Neon Ballroom as well. How do we feel about losing Anthem here? Just dumping it over the trash. Is it one of the 10?
I would honestly, if we're talking Neon Ballroom, personally, I would push more for Emotion Sickness because it
That's how I
shows
feel.
their growth and their diversity
Mhm.
in a way.
I can get behind that.
So let's push Emotion Sickness through. So what was that? 3,
It's like foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Is how I would think about it.
3, 6, 9. So we have only 1 left. So let's start making cuts out of this convo. At this point, I feel like we can. How about we'll do this? Slave or Freak? Which one would we rather keep? Not to push through, just keep around.
I'd rather
leaning.
keep Slave.
I'm leaning towards Slave too. Again, it's a track 1, which
Right. I know,
But still.
because both of these were on my list. So
Yeah.
I mean, so it's,
Yeah.
between those 2, I'd go with Slave.
Yeah.
All right, so let's put Freak in the trash. All right, let's trim these 4 down to 1. Shade, Suicidal Dream, Undecided, and Fault Line. Is anybody leaning any way towards any of these? I feel like Undecided and Fault Line I had.
I had Undecided.
I don't feel
and
strong
Suicidal
about any of
Dream.
them, to be honest.
I'm okay if we cut Undecided.
Okay.
Yeah.
You and I had it, right?
Yeah.
So Jonathan already didn't. So throw that in the trash. Shade, Suicidal Dream, Fault Line,
What else do we have from Frog Stomp so far? We have Israel's Son.
and Madman.
I think Shade would be a good.
So keep Shade.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because it's a different tempo, different.
Instead of pushing it through, we'll just keep it. So it'll be the final boss.
Final boss.
All right. So Anthem for the year 2000 versus Satin Sheets. Trim that down to 1. I feel like Anthem's got to go here. Again, I don't think I love Anthem. But
Yeah,
I just
no,
don't
I'm
think
with
it's
you
one of
on
the
that.
10.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then Too Much or Not Enough, Without You, or The Lever.
Oh man.
I think we
So
should
I had
keep.
the Lever in Without You. So I'm
Mhm.
okay if we cut Without You.
I actually had all 3, but so which way are you leaning, Jonathan?
I think we could cut Without You.
Okay, let's lose Without You. Now, Too Much or Not Enough, or The Lever. The Lever leans more
Can we
Silverchair.
just preview the lever real quick? Because I'm not recalling.
Drawing a
it.
blank.
Yeah.
Pardon the squeal for a minute, but we do what we have to here.
I think because what drew me in, there's a part, and I don't know if it's midway through or more towards the end. I was just like, oh man, it's just how they transition was good. It's really, really good.
It's pretty much your traditional. It's right in the Silverchair vein. Let's go a little bit forward. Versus
Hold on.
that bounce. Stutter. Again, stutters and dribbles. A lot of that with Silverchair's drumming. Alright, just a little bit of this. 'Cause this is the one. See, now this one's outside of the box. This is
That's why I like it.
yeah, it's not your traditional. So I guess the question is, do we have enough representation of your run-of-the-mill, quote-unquote, Silverchair sound?
I would say yes, considering what we've picked already for the first 6 that were unanimous.
Right. So, let's slide Lever over to the trash, because, I mean, as much as I love it, it is, I think we have that sound represented well. So these are the final 4 for the last spot.
Andy, what do you think about that? It's garbage.
Slave, Shade, Satin Sheets, Too Much of Not Enough. That's the final 4.
Slave.
Slave, Shade.
So let's do the
It's
9 that we
tongue-twister.
have currently.
So the 9 we have: Steam Will Rise, Spawn Again, Emotion Sickness, Learn to Hate, No Association, Cemetery, One Way Mule, Israel's Son, Madman.
I think what we're missing, besides Spawn Again, which is, I mean, it's got the really heavy element to it.
Well, what I liked about Spawn, what I really liked about Spawn Again was they had the like the electronic synthy kind of component in it as well,
Yeah.
which was kind of cool.
I think we're missing something else that is different. That's maybe not kind of, because we've got a
Typical.
lot of the, the straightforward rock stuff represented.
Association, Learn to Hate, Spawn Again, One Way Mule, Israel's Son, Madman. Those are all kind of this is your basic Silverchair sound.
And Emotion Sickness has, the instrumental
Yeah.
strings and stuff in it. And
Even though it still has that bass Silverchair sound to it.
yeah.
So I would say Shade and Slave are more of the same Silverchair vein.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we have to axe those. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that leaves Satin Sheets versus Too Much and Not Enough. And at this point, almost for representation, I'd lean towards Too Much and Not Enough.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
All right. So let me run these 10 by you and see how you guys feel about it. Steam Will Rise, Spawn Again, Motion Sickness, Learn to Hate, No Association, Cemetery, Too Much and Not Enough, One Way Mule, Israel's Son, and Madman.
So when you think about that list for a second,
Mhm.
like just in that order, I don't know if it's random that order because it wasn't by album or anything, but if you look at the song, it's like bing, 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 like it's like just totally just bouncing you around,
Mhm.
which is great because it's like, okay, gonna heavy, then it's gonna mellow out, then heavy again, mellow out, then really heavy, and
I
Yeah.
mean, that's
Wait, wait.
Silverchair.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, a lot of their albums, they have, like One Way Mule, in the middle of was it Neon? Was that on Neon
It's,
or Diorama?
Diorama.
Yeah, I mean, because Diorama is just the one that is reaching this pinnacle of, I guess, I don't know, if they hadn't have done Young Modern, what
That's a good way
would
to
come next.
Diorama would have been a good way to go out.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's a grown-up Silverchair sound
Yeah.
that you'd come to expect. And again, like, it's not that Young Modern is that far off, but it's far enough to be like, eh.
Yeah.
Evan's like, I'm going to kill you right now.
But seriously though, I mean, me and Andrew had this little conversation on the
He's mad.
Facebook Messenger chat,
Mhm.
about if you took the Silverchair band name off of it, it's not a bad album,
No.
you know.
I think it's a good album,
It's
actually. It's just not Silverchair.
Silverchair.
Yeah.
And I really struggled with that, because I mean, Silverchair's it's a band that I love so much, but man,
Evan's about to lay it down.
Gentlemen, the problem here is a band's
to
responsibility to manage expectations.
Mm-hmm.
They fail to do that. Young Modern. They're like, hey, haven't heard from us in 5-7 years. We're back.
Cool.
Check us out.
yeah, that's exactly how I felt.
Yeah.
I felt I wanted to return the album to Apple, to
Like,
iTunes.
go.
There you go.
Like, excuse me, Tim Cook. I need a refund on Young Modern from the iTunes store I purchased from. Why is that, Mr. Sherwood? It says it's from
garbage.
Silverchair, but I think you guys got punked, and someone uploaded some other pop folk band's album.
It's hot garbage.
Yeah, and
You know the
I feel
interesting thing
bamboozled
is
and want my
that
money back.
whenever I hear stuff like this, I always think about something that Billy Corgan said,
Yeah.
and how he always, like, his, I guess, goal was to be like the ultimate punk band or pop band, pop punk
Yeah.
band.
Yeah. It's funny because when you look at Adore is like that big step off of Melancholy. Although when you really listen to Melancholy, especially Twilight to Starlight, it's not that far of a leap. It's
No.
just no
No.
Jimmy. And then you make the leap from Adore into Machina, which Machina is my favorite record.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all right there. And then, like you said, with Silverchair, we've been gone for 7 years. Here's a new record. They come back with Zeitgeist, and it's like,
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I like Zeitgeist fine. It's a Pumpkins record. I was happy to have my band back, but like it kind of
And
falls
then they
flat.
did what is it?
Oceana. I like Oceana.
I can't listen to it.
I like it. I mean, again, it's still not. It's hard to justify a Smashing Pumpkins record with no Jimmy Chamberlain.
Yeah.
I mean, Billy is the band, but you need Jimmy too. And then
You do Jimmy Blast Beats.
yeah, and then the next record, Monument to an Elegy, is fine.
I haven't even heard that one.
It's fine. Like there's a handful of songs that's like I like this, and then now the band's back together. I mean,
Right.
whatever that means. Yeah. We kind of got off of on topic here.
Well, I mean, it's a
in
similar
vain,
kind
yeah.
of, it's
Let's touch
a
on
similar,
the same theme.
yeah, with where Silverchair left off and
Yeah.
what they came back with was so vastly different.
And when did Young Modern come out? I mean, this is already a good couple of years ago, yeah.
Yeah, it's 2000 and hold on, I close out my notes. Young Modern was 2007.
Okay, so yeah, it's
That's
already
what I
been
thought.
10 years. See, and just to kind of correlate it back to that the Billy Corgan Smashing Pumpkins conversation, like they're putting out records now, and people are mad at. They just came out with Solara. They came out with 2 new singles, Solara and Silvery Something. And when I listen to those, even though they're not the Pumpkins of old, they're still Smashing Pumpkins songs. Like Evan said, managing expectations. This is what a Pumpkin song sounds like to me now. This is they continued writing.
Yeah, and that's one thing with Billy. I mean, when you go into like the Airplane Flies High box set, you know, and I mean a double album.
Yeah.
I mean, Billy is
double
just,
album
he's
with like
he's a
60
writing machine.
Yeah.
So something like that is almost to be expected. I do not think that I would ever expect to hear the day, you know, not hearing something from Billy Corgan, whether it's Pumpkins or not. Silverchair, you know, they've kind of
They clearly have kind of
fallen off
map,
the
yeah.
radar, yeah, because I don't think that Young Modern was as
Not a good way to
successful.
go out.
No, no, exactly.
So
That's what
you-
kind of sucks about it.
Yeah. You were gonna say.
yeah, you were talking about, you know, yeah, they've gone away for a while, and you know the band comes back like, oh, here's our album, and Manage Your Expectations, and you know, yeah, as you mentioned Solara and stuff like that, and they're like, oh, this is what a Pumpkin sounds like now. Okay, it's still Pumpkin. And to me, Young Modern was so vastly different. I know you guys don't necessarily see it as that vastly different than other albums.
Oh, I do.
To me, I do that. It didn't resemble anything of Silverchair. If it was a mix of some stuff that they left off with that, and like kind of eased you back into it with the writing process for that album, I probably wouldn't be as so hell bent against our album being as thinking it's as bad as it is, and I probably wouldn't have had a hard time finding a track to pick from that album in this to try to, you know, at least play on, you know, on the list. But they didn't do that. It's just like, hey, we've been gone for 7 years. You don't really know what we've been up to. This is what we sound like now.
Yeah.
And it's completely different. And I'm not saying they have to put out like an, you know, oh, hey, everybody, we sound completely different now, like, before you buy our album. No, they're not going to do that. It's not smart business. But if they would have still written some things like Silverchair, like, to me, this is something that the other two band members, and this is an assumption, I have no evidence either way, but it seems like, kind of like you're saying, it's a Dissociatives album. The band members in Silverchair really didn't have any input, because, and this is another thing I hate about that album, that's what the drums sound like. The drums
Paper.
are freaking horrible on that album. They're almost non-existent.
Right. Yeah.
If they would have kept writing and made more albums that were Young Modern, but like if they would have kept going in that direction, does that make Young Modern more acceptable to you? Because that's the point I was trying to make with the Pumpkins, is they kept writing and it became acceptable.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I think that when you're out of the limelight and out of the business and making music, if you're not making music for 7 years and you come back and your sound is completely different from what you left off with, and with what you left off with was completely different than what you very first started with, but you had 4 albums of fans and time to spend with to ease that progression to what Diorama was. If they would have released Young Modern a year later, 2 years later, sure, would they have still had some writings of actual Silverchair in there? Probably so, and I probably would have been more
Accepting.
yeah. So, but that didn't happen.
Yeah.
It's like 7 years, bam, here we go.
Yeah.
This is us.
I think what made it more accessible, to me at least, is because I had followed Daniel. So I knew about the Dissociatives. I'd seen, the music videos that they put out. And, like, that was the first thing that I heard when I listened to the album. I'm like, man, this is the Dissociatives. And so that's when I really had a hard time with it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, this is him taking his side project and making it Silverchair, like rebranding the side project, and I just didn't like that. I wouldn't.
Kind of
I
what
wasn't
Gwen
cool with
did
that.
with Rocksteady, with No Doubt.
Yeah.
Now, again, I like Rocksteady. I think it's a good album. But when you put it up against the rest of the No Doubt discography, it's like, well, is it really a No Doubt record?
Right.
But, I mean, it led to an interesting conversation. We almost got Sam Kinison out of it.
Almost.
So
It takes a lot.
I don't know if you guys know the new wrinkle I added probably about a month ago. So now we do the number one with a bullet. And this is because every year I've been trying to do the best of that year. And we take a song from every artist. And it's usually Alfredo and I. And we put a top 10 from that year, from the episodes of Deprogrammed.
Okay.
And this last year, I put it together, and the best of 2017, he just did nothing but bitch at me. He's like, I wouldn't have picked this song, dudes. I wouldn't have picked this song, dudes. And how dare you pick this song, dudes? And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to change that. Now the panel is going to pick. So we're going to pick, we decide which song will be the Silverchair representative in the best of 2018.
Ooh.
So which one do you think is the one?
Oh man.
Bro, you can't lay this kind of stuff
Young
on
Modern
me, man.
Station.
Evan just rage quit.
So is off of the top 10 that we just made? We're gonna pull
out
off
of the-
that?
Yep.
Oh Lord.
I'll be your number one with a bullet.
Okay, so I would say this. It's got to be something that has got an element of Silverchair's like heaviness,
Mm-hmm.
and an element of where the direction that they went as a band.
Go on.
I would use those two elements as some kind of deciding factor.
Can I tell you the one I'm leaning towards?
Okay.
And this may throw you guys for a loop. I'm leaning towards Spawn Again.
Me too. 100%. That's the first one that came in my head. Not only just for the heaviest part, because I'm a freaking nut over heavy music, but because there was that experimentation with it, with like the synth, the other sounds that they had going on in there that most people may not hear initially, but it is there and you can pick up on it. That was like, okay, they're trying some new stuff in with their
I feel like
heavy Silverchair.
I feel like the
thing going
heavy
on.
is important
Yes.
to have as like the song, and it definitely has the heavy,
Yeah.
and it's got the experimentation of, this is kind of where we may be going, guys.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that, Jonathan? If you got another one, it's cool. I'm open. That was just the one that was jumping out at me
Go
from the conversation.
through the list one more time, and I'll see
Okay.
if I can get behind that.
Steam Will Rise, Spawn Again, Emotion Sickness, Learn to Hate, No Association, Cemetery, Too Much and Not Enough, One Way Mule, Israel's Son, and Madman. I mean,
I think the only other one that I would lean towards is One Way Mule.
I can see that, because it's like the Silverchair song among the not so Silverchair songs on Diorama.
Yeah.
But does it have enough of the element? 'Cause I feel like Cemetery and Too Much and Not Enough, those are acoustic. Those are out of the conversation. Israel's Son, Madman, No Association, Learn to Hate.
Yeah,
Those are
no,
typical.
Yeah.
That's core sound. So I mean, we are looking at like Steam Will Rise, Spawn Again, Emotion Sickness. And
I think we could
One
go
Way
with
Mule.
Spawn Again if the two of y'all are behind that.
It's the one that jumped out
Yeah.
from the conversation.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're with it, I'll bump it up here to the top. It'll be our number one with the bullet.
Spawn again.
Yeah. Let's do that.
All right, so one more time. Here's our 10. Spawn Again, Steam Will Rise, Emotion Sickness, Learn to Hate, No Association, Cemetery, Too Much and Not Enough, One Way Mule, Israel's Son, Madman, and I don't know. Unless you have some predisposed I hate Silverchair going on, if you listen to this,
I need to make that list once we're done. I need to make that a playlist.
if you don't listen to this and like Silverchair, then, man, I'm sorry. I don't know what to
Then
do
you
for
might as well listen to Young Modern.
Exactly what I was thinking, dude. I was like, you might as well go pick up Young Modern.
All right. Well, I don't know what you guys are on the lists for, because you mentioned you'd be up for Silver Sun Pickups, but I don't have a third yet.
Yeah, because I'll start going through the discography.
It's not much. I want to say it's like 49 tunes, something like that. It's 5 records maybe. They usually don't, like Pickle has like 7, I think. So
Right.
they don't go too deep. And we still haven't done Thrice.
Dude, just take that off the list, man. At this
I don't
point,
understand.
At this point, just take it off the list.
And then you also had what else did you recently jump on board for?
Stab Westward.
Yeah, Stabbing Westward. So we're just waiting on thirds. And I mean, these are always fun. So there's got to be another band that the three of us want to talk about, I imagine. We'll come up with it. We'll look
I
at the
thought
list
of
and
a
stuff.
couple recently, yeah, but I'm not thinking of them now.
We'll look at the
Have
list.
you guys? I have to look at the whole list of shows you've already done. Have you done live?
Haven't yet. That one would be a tough sell for me.
Okay.
I definitely have a predisposed notion. I don't think it's a please explain, but it's definitely I have a predisposed. I'm a whiny guy. Let's pull my ponytail and I'm wet myself. With Ed. Look at Ed's face. I got that from Beavis and Butthead.
Okay, lightning crashes. All right.
All right, so we're gonna get on out of here. Wow, guys, hour 20.
Word.
Look at us. Here's hoping that it came out all right. If it didn't, I apologize. An hour and 20 minutes of nonsense. But if you enjoy this program, Deprogrammed, you can get it 3 full days ahead of the rest of the world if you go to patreon.com/ohhijustin. And you also, for that $1 American dollar, get the Oh Hi Justin pod, which I put out daily. You get the #WrestlePals, which technically you get for free. So, I mean, I'm just saying that's a little incentive there. The These Ghouls demos, which is my stupid band. And you also get, hopefully, a comic book eventually. A couple new pods that are in works. Just, I'm doing stuff. And if you'd like to support me doing stuff, I would greatly appreciate that. Patreon.com/ohhijustin. And with that, Silverchair, learn them and love them, people. We'll see you next week.